the Mind Sculptor, and then in the main deck, Inquisition, Swords, Brainstorm, Force of Will, full sets. Anything he has one Terminus in the main, one Engineered Explosives in the main, one Counter Spell.
Yeah, one Vindicate. He has a lot of strange
one-ofs.
And perhaps the most perplexing to me, one Ponder.
Right. just the one Ponder.
One, just in case you need it.
Right.
In case you need to boost your opponent's
Out of the board, he doesn't have too much for this matchup, actually. So both players right now, by the way, on 6-card hands. And they're going to start out. Bernie Wen on the playoff, plays a Marsh Flats. Thomas Enevoldsen, turn 1 Mother of Runes. Card, a decent threat for Bernie Wen, one that he can play around, though he does have some sweepers. He has Engineered Explosives. He has Supreme Verdict in his board, another Return to Ravnica card. He also has Terminus.
Yep, so 3 distinct sweepers, each serving a little different purpose. Now, Thomas Enevoldsen, out of the sideboard, he has 2 Cataclysm, which should be pretty big for him here. That'll knock Bernie Wen down to 1 land, and Esper Stoneblade really needs a lot of land.
So, Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, okay, he's stacking them together. Stoneforge cracks his Marsh Flats for a Tundra, pairs it with a Scrub land, plays Stoneforge Mystic.
And there you see Bernie Wen's sideboard card. Disenchant is in his hand, so he will be able to deal with any pesky Batterskulls that might come into play.
Right.
Thomas also has 1 Oblivion Ring he might board in to deal with these enchantments. He has 1 Manriki Gusari, which is awfully exciting.
Yeah, so that is very exciting. The second line is Caracas, and he'll bring down Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. And the reason, that'll be very nice. The first strike will hopefully deny GT counters. There's 2 Brainstorms in Bernie's hand. He does not have a fetch land to pair with them yet, but those will be of pretty good value to him.
Right. Now, Thomas Enevoldsen, he has 2 creatures that can deny the GT counters. Both the Mother can give protection, and the Thalia can first strike it down.
Right.
So GT, not really a huge deal for him quite yet, though it probably will be.
Pay 2 for the Brainstorm, probably hoping to find a fetch land. I'm hoping just to find a 3rd land in general, probably.
Right. Thalia really is crimping his style there.
Yep, it looks like he has failed to find a land.
Wow. And that sniffed, yeah, he doesn't like that.
Right. That'll mean no GT. Yeah.
No GT anytime soon, it looks like.
Soon. Without a way to shuffle, he's going to be forced, whatever 2 cards he puts back, he's going to be forced to draw.
Yeah, he might even have to discard here. I'm not sure if he's on 7 or 8.
Because of the mulligan, he's not going to have to discard. Oh, the mulligan,
that's right, too.
But yeah, he will have a full grip. He has Engineered Explosives in his hand. It's one of the new cards off the draw. We have no land, so a bad beat there for Bernie Wen. He'll pass back to Thomas.
Yep, Thomas has a pretty good hand. He has a Phyrexian Revoker, he has another Mother, and I think that might have been a Batterskull.
Yeah, Batterskull possibly being hard cast. He doesn't. Oh, he has Stoneforge Mystic as well. That's very strong.
Right.
So Stoneforge Mystic, probably getting Manriki Gusari would be my guess. No joke. Actually, that would be my guess of the play here.
Right. Now he does have to protect against the Engineered Explosives a little bit, but that said, there's only 1 in Bernie Wen's deck, so he can't play around it too much.
Right. And it is Manriki Gusari, the Chain Whip. So yeah, Bernie Wen's going to have to read it. For those of you who didn't play Kamigawa Block Constructed, and this card was insane, it's an equipment that equips and gives the creature the ability to tap and destroy the equipment.
Right. Saviors of Kamigawa Uncommon could not be from a more obscure set.
Yeah, not one of the few playable cards out of Saviors of Kamigawa.
Yeah.
It was that and Pithing Needle were the cards people played. Second Mother of Runes down for Thomas Enevoldsen. Probably an overreach on his part.
Right. At the same time, though, his opponent is stuck on 2 lands. His opponent's sweepers do cost 4 and 6. And unfortunately for him, in the case of Engineered Explosives, 1.
Yep. Bernie Wen, because both his lands can't make white, can cast an Engineered Explosives on 1 if you'd like.
Right.
Actually, yeah, you have to be a little bit careful about casting it with a Thalia in play.
Well, actually, we had this conversation earlier, how you announce the Engineered for 0. The Thalia makes it cast 1 more, or cost 1 more, and as long as you don't pay colorless for that 1, it should get the Sunburst counter.
Right, so the only way Bernie Wen could, in theory, make an Engineered Explosives on 1 is if he taps both lands for white.
No, I'm not sure if that's how it'll work. Because if you announce the Engineered for 0, it'll cast 1 extra.
And you'd announce it for 1, and then you'd only pay 2 mana, so you'd only have 1 color, so it'd have 1 counter.
Yeah, but I think you can announce it for 0, pay 1, and it'll still have 1 counter. Anyways, we'll find out.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you can still play it on 1. You can announce it for 0, cast it on 1 if you'd like.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
And he's going to ponder. He's going to shuffle. He still didn't find another land. He desperately needs one here, or else the Thalia is just going to take chunks out of his life total.
Yep, so he's pondering, getting rid of the other non-land cards, hoping to get some lands so we can really play the game.
Right. Any land would be fine.
And he's just got to hope right now, like Thomas Enevoldsen doesn't draw a Rishid Port or a Wasteland.
Ever.
Yeah. Other news, the Delver Mirror, David McDarby and Joey Andrews going to Game 3. The winner of that will play Andrew Schneider in his blue-red Delver deck.
Oh wow, Bernie Wen draws Force of Will, still no land. He's getting awfully unlucky in terms of these land draws here. Though his deck, it really doesn't play that many. Let's see. It only plays 23 land, one of which is already in the graveyard, so only 20 land left in his deck to draw.
And it's the Rishid Port for Enevoldsen. That's
wow.
Exactly what Bernie Wen doesn't want. So he's going to tap. Yeah, he'll tap down.
Yep, have to imagine that Bernie will cast a Brainstorm with this.
Yep, in response, use all the mana, use the entire turn. Brainstorm.
Right. Entire turn
cards.
just to cantrip.
Did he hit a land yet? He has 1 land.
Island, not a fetch land.
Right, so he'll get his 1 land, but no more.
Right.
And between that Port and the Thalia, Enevoldsen I have to think is all the way to the races here.
Right, Batterskull is going to be flashed in from the Mystic end of turn, significantly upgrading that clock, and the Mother of Runes will be able to force through some damage too.
Right. So draws the island for turn, makes land drop, can't make a play. And end step, Stoneforge Mystic is going to put Batterskull into play.
Yep, Germ token right there. And this represents a 2-turn clock for Thomas Enevoldsen.
This looks pretty good. Barring anything unforeseen, I think Thomas will make his way on through with this. Remember, Bernie Wen unable to blow up the Germ token even with engineered explosives.
Right, unless he draws his 1. No, he doesn't even have 1 colorless land.
There's no way for him to engineer explosives for 0 with a Thalia in play.
Right, unless he draws 1 of his 2 wastelands.
Okay, yep, that's fair. If he draws 1 of his 2 wastelands, he can make that play.
Of which the top 2 cards are not, so he will not be able to do that this game.
Alright, so going to attacks here, Thomas Enevoldsen. He has 6 damage in safe attacks. And I think he's going to go for that.
Yep, and now Bernie Wen maybe should think about chump blocking here. That Stoneforge Mystic isn't going to do a heck of a lot. Even putting Umezawa's Jute into play doesn't really do anything. He's never going to be able to afford that 2 mana.
To equip it, and even were he able to afford it, we know that Manriki Gasari is in Enevoldsen's hand.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's going to take it. He's taking 6, dropping to 9.
And he'll pass the turn on upkeep, porting down. He has to decide whether he wants to take him off black mana or take him off second blue.
Right. Probably black mana. The second blue doesn't do a heck of a lot.
You can go second blue, and I think I actually like that play.
What does the second blue prevent?
It prevents him from digging more, I suppose. I mean, I think it's largely irrelevant.
Right. Also, it does prevent the Vendilion click, so that is something too. Yeah, you're probably right there.
Well, yeah, it prevents if that was the yeah. There's probably very low likelihood that Bernie Wen has a Vendilion click. It'll probably be in his hand, and if it wasn't in his hand, then Port does nothing.
Right.
So upkeep, Enevoldsen's going to make Vendilion click.
All right. So Bernie Wen's Vendilion click will certainly target himself. He just needs to cycle. He'll put a Thoughtseize on the bottom.
Yes, absolutely. Bernie Wen just has to reveal 1 card out of his own hand, the card he's getting rid of.
Right.
Yep. No Thoughtseize, instead he'll have a new card. And that will be his turn.
Yep, and that was in his upkeep, so he gets to draw another here.
Yep. Is it a land? Did he get there?
I think he did.
And it is. It's an Underground Sea.
So not quite out of this game yet. A little hope for Bernie.
Yep.
And Thomas thinking of whether or not to flash in this Manriki.
Yeah, the thing is that Thalia can be gang blocked right now. Well, I mean, the Mother of Runes, it won't die. So I suppose never mind. That doesn't really do much.
No, and Burning Wind will be forced into chump blocking here.
Now remember, Caracas can bounce Vendilion Click, and that's what he's exactly what he's going to do instead of putting in the Monriki Gasari.
Right. That makes a lot more sense. Even though he'll get to use it again, it
fine.
doesn't matter if he's
Whole
dead.
turn.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things people sometimes forget, that Vendilion Click is a legend. And usually it takes, everybody has one experience where they cast the second one before they realize it's a legend. 5th land for Enevoldsen. He knows exactly what he wants to play with it.
Oh, Flicker Wisp. Wow. And yeah, Burning Wind should have chump blocked last turn. This Flicker Wisp is going to force...
Is that lethal? Flicker Wisp. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Flicker Wisp on Stoneforge Mystic is lethal.
Yeah, now Burning Wind does have a Force of Will. So he won't quite die. He will be able to get the chump block in.
Right. There's no way to use Port to deny that play either.
Now, what he could have done it during his draw step if he thought to.
Yeah, but if he thought, oh, if I draw Flicker Wisp, but I'm pretty sure, saving Port for the next upkeep's a better play, because it's very likely that Enevoldsen will win on the next turn anyway.
Right.
Something that aggressive.
Well, he could probably draw the Flicker Wisp and still in the draw phase use it, but that's a pretty narrow line. It's pretty hard to see that.
So, Enevoldsen looking like he's going to go ahead and move on to take on Caleb Durward in his Tezzeret deck. Certainly not the matchup we were thinking of at the beginning of the tournament.
I thought that the Esper Stoneblade deck was going to win, and I thought the Omnitel deck was going to win here.
Yeah, both these players, Thomas Enevoldsen and Caleb Durward, very strong players. Not surprised to see them take a bad matchup and run it the other way.
Right. Helped a little bit by some unfortunate draws on their opponent's part, as we can see here. Some anticlimactic matches.
Yeah.
So now it's Thomas's main phase. Flicker Wisp went to the graveyard. Now he has to decide what his best attack is. And it looks like everybody.
It would either be everybody or everyone but the Mother of Runes.
Right. I think he wants to. Well, no. If he attacks with everybody, the Stoneforge Mystic is forced to chump block.
It's forced to chump block because it is 8 damage.
Right.
Right.
Lethal.
So that lethal swing means all the Mother of Runes get in.
Oh no,
Yeah, because he loses a life from the Force Will. So if he blocks the Mother of Runes, he's going to take exactly 8. So I think that's a great play.
Yeah. He doesn't even have to attack with one Mother of Runes if he wants to stay safe and leave one Mother back too. The Force of Will did do 1 point to Burning Wind.
So he's going to give the Germ protection from white and just push the 6.
Yep, going with the
pushing
safe play
7.
here. Okay, Stoneforge 2. That's a heads up play from Thomas. So keeping one Mother of Runes back, this definitely seems like the right play.
This puts Bernie to 1 if he takes it all.
Yeah. Turning off Force of Will, turning off Fetch Lands, really just putting him in a really tough spot. And Burning Wind trying to figure out who he should chump block here. If he should just bounce with the Stoneforge Mystic, or chump block the Thalia. The difference between 1 and 2, kind of a big deal in a deck with Force of Will.
Absolutely. Burning Wind contemplating what his outs would be in this situation, and I can't come up with one. I think Thomas Enevoldsen is going to make his way through to the top 4 here.
Oh, I can think of at least one out. Terminus.
Terminus. He does play Terminus. He could miracle it, and he doesn't know the top of his deck, correct?
Nope,
So
the Vendilion Click cycled through that.
So he does have, if he has an instant speed card draw, he'll get 2 shots at Terminus, not just 1.
Right. So we'll see here. Since his only out is Terminus, I think he just has to chump block. Oh, no, looks like he's going to block the Stoneforge.
Yep, stop blocking Stoneforge, taking 6, dropping down to 2.
So Thomas will say go, and on upkeep he'll surely use the port. Probably tapping down a white source.
Yep, tapping down the Tundra.
Burning Wind, trying to think of what to do. I don't think he can do anything here. I think he has to let that be tapped.
Yep. He needs to make sure he has enough mana to possibly does he have a brainstorm to do on Enevoldsen's turn?
I think he does. I think
So
he's going to get 2 cracks at it.
No, actually, with Thalia and play Brainstorm, he'll need a land here
Right.
to even have a shot at it.
So his outs are either Terminus on top or land Indeterminus here. And is it a miracle?
Just the one Terminus in his deck.
Oh wow, he puts it right into his hand, even if
That
it
was.
was.
It was. That wouldn't have worked. It was not, though. So without... Yeah, without the land, I don't think Bernie Wen has any more outs.
No, me neither. He has to. No, not sure what he can do. He needs an ethereal haze here or a fog, something like that, and I don't see any in his deck. Looking through the sideboard here, Engineered Plague on Humans would almost save him. Oh, 2 mana. Looks like a Brainstorm.
It looks like David McDarby and Joey Andrews have finished their match. We're awaiting the result of their match.
Oh, and there's the Terminus.
He
And
hits
that's
it
got to
off the
have Bernie
Brainstorm.
Wen just shaking his head.
Yeah, no way. It's there. It's no way to cast. There's no way to cast it.
No, that Thalia just really was the all-star this game.
And he'll pass the turn. I don't know if there's an out he's playing to.
Yeah, I think it's Thomas drawing extra cards, something like that.
Yeah. Sad. You make it into the top 8, you always want to hang on for as long as possible. Even when the loss is on the board, you always want to make sure it's going to happen. You stick with it all the way until the end.
Exactly. 1 game out of 100, your opponent will mess up and give you another window. So Thomas trying to figure out what Bernie Wen has, trying to figure out why he hasn't scooped.
And Joey Andrews defeats David McDarby in our other top 8 match. So we'll have Caleb Durward versus Thomas Enevoldsen. This game holds up. On one side of the bracket, this is Blue-Black Tezzeret versus Death in Texas. On the other side of the bracket, we'll see Joey Andrews playing Rug Delver versus Andrew Schneider with straight Blue-Red Delver. Joey Andrews just defeating one Blue-Red Delver opponent, trying to make it both.
And they will all turn sideways here. One mother will stay back, just in case.
And there's the hand. Thomas Enevoldsen defeats Bernie Wen 2-0.
So congratulations, Thomas Enevoldsen moves on to the semifinals, where he will face Caleb Durward.
All right. So both decks, we watched both those on camera. Our prediction, let's talk about that matchup a little bit. Both these are players that we